So this is part 3 of a Q&A podcast series. These are questions that my friends wrote for me. Let's get started. Question 1. What was the writing process for your work? Are all the poems new, or is it a collection of new and old? So most of the poems I wrote for my book are sort of new. I wrote them for the book. So a year ago, I promised I would write a book. And it turns out I write a lot of short stories, and I have some ideas for novels, like vampire novels. But ultimately, I decided to do a poetry book. I've always wanted to become an author. I did write around 50 new poems. I wrote them throughout the year 2025 about all the feelings and things I've experienced, and it's for me, a very emotional poetry collection. So most of these poems are new, and the ones that are old, I revised them to sort of give the new perspective I have currently. So most of my poems are on love and the feeling of absence, of heartbreak, of disappointments, of not being good enough, of being let down and abandoned and hurt, and a lot of unrequited love and all the positive feelings you get when you care deeply for someone. So what was the writing process for me? I typically don't have writer's block when it comes to poetry. For me, poetry is just an expression of my feelings. So when I feel something intense, I just write that down, even if it's just a word, a few sentences, or an idea. And later on, like when I have time at night, when it's more peaceful and quiet, I tend to write my poems very quickly. And for the book specifically, I used to write on poetry blocks, but for the book, I really went to the effort to revise and edit very deeply, think more about what I'm trying to say in a poem. So I have a lot of experience writing poetry. I have written 350 poems, and these are my new current 50 last poems for this poetry collection. So question 2. What do you need to be able to write well? Music or no music? A drink? The night sky? For me to write well, I think I just need a peaceful, quiet place. I do listen to some showcase music and lo-fi music, but really I don't need much. Just having Google Docs open, and I just focus on the feelings I feel, because I feel like feelings haunt me at night, and to process those feelings, instead of letting things hurt me, I say what I want to say with words, because I was always told not to speak up. So I say what I want to say through poetry, and it's sort of like a therapy, writing poetry for me, it's like therapeutic. Because where do all these feelings go that we feel at night? Or at least for me, all these feelings that haunt me, anxieties, worries, fears, and pain, I put them into my poetry. And it's sort of very cathartic, and it feels really good afterwards. So question 3, can you share your favorite poem with us? So I have shown in part 1 and 2 of this podcast 2 poems that I like. So I'm going to try to find another here for you. So this one is called You Are. I'll read it to you. You are eager self-denial, a wilted rose, a guilt waiting for a trial. You are the elusive clothes. You are the room. You are my tune. Beneath a pile of sound, a rumbling, growling ground. You are my first friend, and the beginning of a trend. You are a wish, you are a dream, you are the end of me. So I'm gonna try to read this again. The poem is called You Are. You are eager self-denial, a wilted rose, a guilt waiting for a trial. You are the elusive clothes. You are my room, you are my tomb. Beneath a pile of sound, a rumbling, growling ground. A rumbling, growing ground. You're my first friend and the beginning of a trend. You are a wish, you are a dream, you are the end of me. I really like this one because the word choice. I like that it's called you are because you can sort of read it as you are yourself now, you are able to rose, you are guilt, you are elusive, you are. But instead of repeating, I remove those words and it sort of has a good flow to it, like a really cool word choice. I really like the last stanza, you are a wish, you are a dream, you are the end of me. And I like the imagery of a wilted rose and self-denial, as in you are denying things to yourself, and a guilt waiting for a trial, like it turns verb into noun, so you are a guilt, you are guilty, you feel guilty, you are waiting for something to be punished or something. Someone who is putting themselves through a lot of suffering, I think. In my poetry, I speak a lot about people I've encountered, people I've met, and myself. Sometimes I blend things together, but it's sort of all goes together because like you can't really tell like who it's for. Like, is it about me or is it about someone you know? It could be anyone. And I really like that, the relevancy of these thoughts, because I don't think we are just one person. I think, we change throughout time and we act differently in different situations. We lie to ourselves, we change, we make mistakes, we learn. I don't think we are just one thing. So I feel like poetry is really easy to relate to once you try to find relevancy in things. Thinking back of how you felt and things I think that's how I usually write, and that's how I usually learn, and that's how I usually read, is I put myself into the eyes or situation of someone else and correlate those things and feelings with things I've experienced. I think it was Bismarck that said, a fool learns from their own mistakes, but someone smart learns from the mistakes of others. So question 4, you have mentioned that your inspiration was Emily Dickinson. Do you still read her poems here and there? Which one is your favorite? I do read her poems, but I will share with you a different poem. One of my favorites is actually spoken poetry. You can find it on YouTube. It's called When Love Arrives by Sarah K. and Philip K. So there's performance between them. And I think they're from Los Angeles like me. And when I was younger and I saw this, I was like, wow. And so pretty. I found poetry very pretty. So yeah, and that's my favorite poem. It's spoken word. It's called When Love Arrives by Sarah K. and Philip K. But apart from Emily Dickinson, both of them really inspired me. I really love the pacing in that spoken word poem, and I try to read things out loud when I write. I was thinking about how it sounds. I think that's a good way to write poetry, is to read things out loud and see sort of pacing and feeling or creating sort of by just not only the word choice, but the length of sentences and the pauses and things like that. So yeah, that was question 5. Do you have any favorite contemporary poets? And question 4 together. So question 6. What do you consider being the true meaning of successful? I think success, I think the way you win at life, or like reaching success is doing what you love, is following your dreams. And as long as you are doing what you want to do, it's your choice, and you made that choice, then I think that's a life well lived. And that is the true meaning of success, is to do what you want to do. I don't like people telling others to not do something or to do something. I think if someone wants to do something, they should do it. And I sort of live by 2 rules in life. The first is not to hurt others intentionally. And My second rule is to not break the law. So I am both lawful but not perfect. I really believe in people doing what they want to do as long as it's not hurting other people. And that's what I would call success, or being successful in life. And I think that's how you win. That's how you beat, I feel like, this game of life. You win by being happy, by doing things you want to do. Because if you do things you don't want to do and you keep doing them, then you're just living to keep doing things you don't want to do. So you're trapped forever. So really, you only have a choice. The only choice is to follow your heart, to follow your dreams, to keep going. I think that is success over traditional success. Journey more important than the outcome. So by this definition, I'm an author now. I published my book. I'm done here. I am done with life. I finished my goal. So there's nothing else for me to do. Kidding. But you can always find more things to do. But for the most part, I've already reached success because I managed to do what I wanted to do, which is publish a book. And from here on out, I'm just, this is the end game, the post game. This is the repetition with higher stats, I'm just better, stronger, smarter. I'm successful by my own definition. And I just need to find things that I want to do as well. Like having a more chill experience in life. I think that's what makes a real winner, is when you're having fun. So, question 7. What type of verses do you prefer? I like spoken poetry of verses specifically. I'm not sure. I could read you a poem. I could read you something that's give an indication of what kind of verses I like. I'm gonna read you a short poem called My. It goes, you are the morning snow, the rain to my sky. You are the melody of my dreams, with you no lies. You told me yesterday, thing I missed. You don't believe you're like her, but in you both I see the line bar. Short and sweet with tulip delicacy. You are the innocence that keeps me clear. So I really like this poetry poem of mine, especially the final verse, short and sweet with tulip delicacy. I really like that one, that part. So I'm not sure how you would describe this verse. I like, just as the poem says, short and sweet. I like short and sweet verses. Here's another one. This poem is called Something About You. I saw the sunset fade. I put on a sweater. I thought of you still. Thinking of colors helped. But the weight of these leaves reminded me of you. Everything was gnawing at my door. I really like the last verse here as well. It says, everything was gnawing at my door. Everything was gnawing at my door. It's kind of like the poem is like knock, 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 three lines, 3 knocks. Sort of like the repression of feelings overwhelming, or like you try to hide something and, it sort of builds up. And that's why in the poem it goes, everything gnawing at my door. I like that one. One of my poems. Question 8. Would you like to write more prose? I hate writing. I hate formal writing. I do it because it's standard. I like short stories and novels. I like reading them. Writing them can be really stressful. Editing, proofreading, and it's a lot of tedious work to me. Writing is very tedious. Just like talking. I prefer poems. I prefer liberty, the freedom to choose my own words, mess with grammar and spelling, and try to fuck things up. I like to mess with things and play with things and try things. I think that's the fun part, more than um, writing formally, to be honest. I don't know what the word prose is. I haven't heard that in 20 years, but I assume it's called like writing short stories or essays or something. I do not enjoy writing essays at all. I think formal writing holds my thinking back very much. Like, it's good to be able to communicate with others. And someone who does not communicate with others conversation-wise or things like that. Like, I know and I understand that my communication skills are very low. Conversation skills are low, but I do not enjoy prose or essays or communication with people. I do like talking, like casually, but to debate something and things like that. I don't know. Like, I already do a lot of overthinking for myself. So to express that for others in a way that is professional or formal, to me, it's just not something I'm looking forward to doing. So question 9. How do you feel about AI writing or AI and writing? I used to hate AI because it was taking over art and stuff. And I hate the way the market is shifting towards AI and how everything has the AI now. I do like ChatGPT a lot. I use it. I learned to use it. To me, they're just tools, and it's up to me to use those tools to make things easier. I would say I feel pretty neutral about AI and writing. I just see them as tools to use. Like, it's already here. Like, I can't. If I hide from it, I'm just putting myself at a disadvantage when it comes to doing something efficiently for certain things. When it comes to writing specifically AI, I think even if AI could make really amazing art and better poetry, like, it wouldn't really be poetry, I feel. Because poetry is more than just the words and how it sounds. I think poetry, what makes it human, what makes it expressive is that you're trying to say something. Like, this is a person trying to communicate their feelings, their thoughts, or maybe something important that matters to them. So when it comes to AI, if there was AI poetry or AI arts, it wouldn't really have a soul, in my opinion, no matter how good it looks. Because it's not human. I guess it would have to have more development computationally, I feel, to make it have a soul. Like, I'd consider AI having a soul if it had its personality and it had something it's trying to say. But at the moment, I think it doesn't really have that kind of cognition of itself. But things could change. So question 10. I'm just watching this video. Do you think people should write more essays, even if not for school? Do you think essays can be formats of conversation? Well, there's nothing I can say about do you think essays can be a format of conversation? Of course they can. You can write in whatever fashion you want to. If you want to write essays to your friends and family, good luck and good for you. Do you think people would write more essays? I think on average, people should write more essays traditionally on writing pen and paper and pencil paper. I think it's very good for your brain to develop and have critical thinking skills. But should me personally write more essays? I don't think so. I think the best experience or the best form of obtaining communication skills would be to actually talk to people in real life, in coffee shop, or talk to someone online, give them a call, give them a phone call, or going out to eat with people. I think it's the best way to effectively work on communication skills, which I desperately need. I'm gonna leave the rest of these questions for another day. Part 4. Are you ready for part 4? I'm ready for part 4. I'm not ready because my voice is tired. So yeah, this was part 3 of the Q&A series, so I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for staying. I'll see you all next time. Alright, bye bye. See you, take care. Bye bye. Bye bye.